We've completed the senators that are here. Apparently, Senator Murkowski's on her way, and Senator Tester and I have some additional questions, so we'll go to a round two. I just would like to make a comment on the opioid detection and how important that is. I was just down in southern West Virginia with the office, the head of the Office of Drug Control Policy, Jim Carroll,
Right.
went to a drug court graduation. He announced at that graduation, because what we're seeing is our drug problem morphing from opioid prescription drugs to heroin and fentanyl
Right.
to now synthetic methamphetamine. But he announced that at the border, you had interdicted 432 packages with $18 million worth of methamphetamine. I think it was a week ago Saturday, 875 pounds. And as I was reading the story, apparently one of the agents detected something, sent it to secondary screening, and it was picked up on the non-intrusive inspection, hidden in a bunch of broccoli.
Right.
So congratulations to you and
that.
the interdiction that you're doing there. You're saving lives by doing that. Crystal meth is
And
pretty nasty
and
stuff.
we do work closely with the ONDCP. Late last year, we were part of a technology challenge that they announced to have a number of companies continue to invest in the technology to find smaller and smaller amounts of opioids. So again, we work very closely.
That's good. I'm not going to ask you about soft-sided facilities because Senator Langford mentioned it, but you know that's an area of where I've been worried about waste and overspending, and certainly we want to be ready, but we want to be smart. And in visiting these facilities, as I've shared with you privately several times,
Right.
They've been underpopulated, and so I've had great concerns about that. So I would encourage you. I know you're closing more than just one now. You're going.
Right.
And I appreciate that for your responsiveness, and I'm sure it's in the best interest of the department as well in terms of the resources and using the resources in the best way. So I don't know if you want to add anything on that.
Thank you, Chairman. We just need to balance as we bring those facilities offline, making sure that we are still prepared if there is a surge, another surge.
Right.
Very similar to last year, or even half what we saw last year. We want to make sure that we have the facilities that we can process these individuals in, and we don't have them, again, showing up and spending long amounts of time in Border Patrol facilities.
Yeah,
Those aren't the right locations, and so we need to just balance that,
Yes.
that concern.
Thank you. Lastly, or not lastly, but I would add also to Senator Baldwin's question on the MPP. I mean, I think that in conjunction with the Mexican government, it's been a great deterrent to having people flood across our borders in the numbers. I mean, you've seen it go down since June of what was 105,000, and then this past month it was 29,000. Something's working there, and I think MPP is one of those protocols.
Yeah, I would like to elaborate. MPP is designed to do several different things, but one is to make sure that those with meritorious claims can have their claim heard and adjudicated in a timely manner. So we're able to do that in months now instead of years. And it's also deterring fraudulent claims. What we're seeing is about half of these individuals that are put in the program never show up for their court hearings. And that's a similar percentage to what we see in the interior as well. So individuals that are put in this program that know they do not have again, a meritorious claim simply choose to walk away.
Right.
And so it's a little bit of deterring that fraudulent behavior as well, rooting out, restoring that integrity to the immigration system.
Thank you. Last question I have is on FEMA. And I want to thank the department here and thank FEMA for helping us in West Virginia recover from the 2016 floods, where you just recently have helped us rebuild 4 of our schools that, and you know, it's 4 years later, so there was some frustrations there, but FEMA really worked to help us make sure we were asking for the right things and making sure. So I appreciate that, and you just helped us with the match issue as well. But also in your budget request, it seems that the FY 2020 grants on the National Security and Resilience Grant Program, you're revamping and cutting grants by an estimated $623 million. As somebody who's prone to, FEMA has a healthy life in a state like West Virginia. Right. We have, unfortunately, more than our share of natural occurrences where we need help. I'm concerned, is this going to cut back on, will less overall funding mean less grant applications would be granted, and when the demand is still up?
Well, I'd say it's a balancing act, as all of our resources are, on what's the appropriate grant funding. And I think that continues to be a dialogue between the administration and Congress. And so over time, the grants are designed to, again, build capabilities that are not there for grantees. But over time, we want to make sure that they don't become to rely on grant funding as part of their base budget. So we want to make sure that we continue to find new applicants, new grantees, continue to build the resilience and the capabilities of all of our partners in the states. And so that's a reflection of what you see in the 21 budget request, is to make sure that we continue to focus on those areas that need continued funding, that need to continue to build those capabilities, but that we don't continue to fund and build out individuals and recipients-based budgets. It is a balancing act. It's a shared responsibility, not only for the FEMA grants. There are certain grants where we've increased 2 or 3-fold. TP that we talked about, domestic terrorism, prevention. We've increased the number of grants in that area. So we look at each grant program differently to determine what's needed.
Well, I would say in terms, and I'll turn it to Senator Tester, in terms of FEMA grants and preparedness and emergency response, this country, I think all of us have collectively responded to each individual areas of our country that have had need. If we've had to have supplemental funding, or if we'd had to expedite the response quicker. I think we're all kind of pulling for each other here. But I think the best thing for the department and for states to plan is to make sure we have enough in there to have that baseline response capabilities, so we don't have to go to the up and downs of supplementals and emergency fundings and all that. So, Senator Tester.